Hi, I want to welcome you all to this recording that's part of a larger series offering mental health and suicide prevention information, support, and resources in response to the global pandemic. My name is Kelsey Schmitz, and I work for the University of Washington at the School Mental Health Assessment Research and Training Center, or SMART Center, as the school mental health lead to the Northwest Mental Health Technology Transfer Center. Our center is located in Seattle, Washington. In response to the critical need for information during and after the global pandemic, a group of organizations based in the Northwest region have quickly formed an alliance to join together to co-develop, co-deliver, co-sponsor, and co-brand content, resources, and other information. In an effort to bring together in one spot a wealth of relevant information and access to school mental health experts, the Northwest MHTTC and the UW Smart Center are partnering with Forefront Suicide Prevention Center, Drs. Jim and Liz Mazza, the Association of Washington School Principals, Northwest Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports Network, Sound Supports, and Well Educator to bring you the Wellbeing Series. If you'd like to learn more about the Wellbeing Series, please visit our Wellbeing Series webpage and learn about the other events that are planned. All the events are free and anyone's welcome to join. If you have any questions, you can reach out to my colleague, Megan Lucy. As I mentioned, we're part of the National Mental Health Technology Transfer Center Network. This network is funded by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and includes 10 regional centers, a National American Indian and Alaska Native Center, a National Hispanic and Latino Center, and a network coordinating office. If you're interested in reaching out to the Northwest region, where we support the workforce development of school mental health professionals in Alaska, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, you can find information for how to email us, how to visit our website, sign up for our newsletter, and connect with us on social media. Now we hope that you will join us to go into the living room of Drs. Jim and Liz Mazza with their family as they teach their kids the basics of emotional regulation and specific skills such as mindfulness, distress tolerance, and interpersonal effectiveness, essential skills at any time, but even more critical during COVID-19. We hope you'll tune into this lesson and the other lessons that are scheduled to help your kids and your family reduce conflict and keep this pandemic in perspective. If you're interested, here's the weekly schedule. All lessons will be recorded and posted to YouTube. You can also watch these on YouTube Live by subscribing to the DBT in Schools YouTube page. We also invite you to join us on May 19th and June 16th for a session live with Drs. Jim and Liz Mazza. These sessions require registration, and you can get those registration links as well as information about the rest of this series by visiting the website at the bottom of this slide. We hope you enjoy this lesson.
All right, good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here with us today. My name is Dr. Liz Dexter Mazza. I am a clinical psychologist, and I am one of the developers of the DBT Skills in Schools social emotional learning curriculum, also goes by DBT Steps A. And this is our DBT Steps A student skills for surviving and thriving during COVID-19 and beyond. And right now I know these skills are going to apply not just to this COVID-19 pandemic, but all of it that's happening in our world right now, and the injustice and what's happening in this country. And so hopefully today you're joining us and you'll be able to see how these skills are relevant to every part of our lives. I'm going to introduce you quickly to my classroom, then give you a really quick background on some thoughts that are going on for us today during our live stream here. But we started doing this class about almost 3 months ago now, when the pandemic started here, and we moved to a stay-at-home order. And as part of doing school from home, we decided that we were going to start teaching formally the DBT Steps A social emotional learning skills to our kids. And if we were going to teach it to them, then why wouldn't we live stream it out for all of you who want to watch and attend with us? So guys, will you introduce yourselves really fast?
I'm Ashton. I'm in 6th grade and I'm 12.
I'm Grace. I'm 8 and I'm in 2nd grade.
My name is Jackson. I am 13 and I'm in 7th grade.
Fantastic. Thank you. And today, normally, there's 2 adults here, both myself and their dad, Jim. And he's not able to be here with us today because he is actually doing a dissertation defense for one of his graduate students at the university. So you'll notice here, I've got like computers, equipment set up on the table here. Well, I will try to switch our screens as needed while I'm teaching and moving back and forth. And I've also got another computer over here so I can read the chat bar. So please, from home, make sure, I appreciate all those who've said hi and good morning to us already, and then that you are also participating today. So right now, one thing that would be helpful for you to have is to make sure you have some pen and paper, and also if you have like 10 dimes, 10 pennies, or even 10 paper clips that you can grab or someone can grab for you, we're going to use those today also. And just to give you a couple quick announcements, let's see how well I do with switching our screen here and then going over to here so I can just tell you really fast, which computer am I on? There we go. I want to give you just a couple announcements reminding you all that both Jim and I will be doing a live Q&A on Tuesday, June 16th. That's the Tuesday after our last DBT Steps A class, and you can register for that at our website, dbtinschools.com. And then again, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, we are doing a live stream for parenting through COVID-19. So we hope you will join us there. And then really fast up, wrong keyboard. Okay, let me just tell you where we are here. You've all seen this if you've been with us from week to week, that we really focus on both teaching acceptance-based strategies and change-based strategies. Right, and we're going to do mindfulness in a moment. And today we're going to focus on teaching the skills of evaluating options for intensity. How intensely do you ask for something or say no to something? But before we do that, we're going to do our usual mindfulness activity that we do at the start of every class as a way of strengthening and building our mindfulness skills foundation. And today, we're going to focus on doing one thing in the moment, non-judgmentally. What did you say?
Not thinking ahead.
And exactly, not thinking ahead into the future.
Or the past.
Or the past of what was said. Well, we want to pay attention to a little bit what was said, but not what we're going to say when we do the letter switch game.
Yeah.
Um,
We played this one before.
That's right, we have done this before. Can anybody tell me what the instructions are and
Yeah,
speak loud for it? All right.
So we're gonna do 3-letter words, just 'cause that's easy.
Mhm.
So someone comes up with like a simple 3-letter word like
Cat.
bat.
Cat.
Stop. And then the next person, like it goes to the next person, and they have to make a new word, but changing one letter. So if I said bat, Mom could say like cat, and then Jackson could go like rat.
And then I could say hat.
Mhm.
But you don't only have to change the first letter. You can change like any letter. So like Grace could make it hit or something.
That's right, exactly. And we're going to go around, and I want you all to practice this at home as well. You can only change one letter at a time, and you don't want to repeat something that somebody else has said.
Or you're out.
Or you're out. Okay, so why don't you guys stand up so that we can do this. At home, I want you to do this as well. Okay, if you need to put us on mute so that you can practice with who's around you, let's do that. Or if you're by yourself, what I want you to do is when you hear one of our words, think about what word you would say next and kind of jump in with us.
No, because that's not in the moment. If she hears one of our words.
No, they are, they're thinking about it, or they could say it out loud as if they're participating with us. Okay, you ready? Ashton, please stand up. Awesome. I will start. Bat.
Bam.
Ram.
Sam.
Sat.
Cat.
Kit.
Lit.
Lot.
Four. F-O-R.
L-O-T.
L-O-T.
Oh. Rot.
Rod.
Sod.
Sad.
Cad.
Mad.
Is that a word? Cad?
Mm-hmm.
Mad.
Rad.
Okay,
We already
let's
did that
stop.
one.
No, you didn't.
Yep, let's stop. Have a seat, guys. Thank you. How'd that go for you all at home practicing mindfulness? All right, so I'm going to ask you guys now, what's the question I always ask after we do an exercise?
What did you notice?
You got it. What observations? Practicing observing and describing are what skills, right? So notice, what did you notice during that?
We got to like one simple word or something
Mm-hmm.
like just a really simple word, and we just started changing the first letter a bunch.
Right? So we focused
I
a lot
kept
on the
getting
first
stuck.
letters.
Yeah, Jackson was getting stuck.
Okay, so that happens. Sometimes
Said
you noticed you got
4.
stuck, and then were you able to notice that? And then throw yourself back in?
I noticed that for fun, I tried to make it harder than it would be.
Yeah, she
harder.
said weird words.
I tried to make it harder for myself, like harder than it is. So
Okay, so then were you making it harder? Does that mean you were thinking ahead, or you were getting distracted by thoughts?
no, like when it was my turn, I was trying to make it harder. Like I was trying to think of a word different than the easier word.
Gotcha. So you were kind of not being in the moment. You were thinking about how to make it more difficult for Ashton or someone,
No,
Okay.
just me.
or just for you. Okay. So just kind of noticing that. All right. So my next question is, what did you guys notice at home? I want you to throw that in the chat bar. And then I also want to hear, why is a game like this relevant to our lives? Why would we practice this in order to get more mindful? Why do we do something like this?
So when you're in a big group of people, you can play a game.
So you have more games to play when you're with friends? Okay. Yeah, that'd be fun. And why is it relevant to our learning skills?
Mindfulness.
Say more. Say more.
Like
But
you're
not
just like
thinking about the past.
it's
the
just
future.
practicing like being in the moment, just like enjoying it, not being like, oh look, this is such a fun time. Let me get a picture, and then it's like, no, just be in it, not just like try to capture it.
Okay, right? To being in this moment, right? We're really always practicing how do we stay in this moment. And I know that's one thing that you guys tell me a lot and work on with me is how do I not capture the moment, instead stay experienced in the moment, make the memory, don't capture the memory. Always, right?
Not
Is that
always, but
not always? It's
sometimes
not
you
right.
wanna capture
Right? You want to kind of find that balance of it all. All right. So if you have any thoughts or experiences doing that, make sure you throw it in the chat bar for us. And we're going to go on. So what are we teaching today? Or somebody give me a recap. What did we teach the last two classes?
Emotion, like inside yourself, emotion thing. No, didn't we do Dear
Interpersonal
Man?
effectiveness.
We did Dear Man, right? Interpersonal effectiveness the last two classes. Last class we talked about Dear Man. And what did we practice a Dear Man for?
Getting
Puppy.
a doggy.
Right, you guys really want a puppy. So you're working on a Dear Man to get a puppy.
And this time,
Right.
Daddy's not here to say no.
Okay, and so Dad's not here today.
Can get a
And so
puppy.
then the other question is, before we learned about the Dear Man, about how to ask for something or say no to something, what did we learn in the class?
Fast and give skills.
The fast and give skills. And what do those focus on?
Fast is like saying what you want, but like gently and not apologizing.
Well, those you're mixing them up.
Oh, well,
You're-
not apologizing is fast. Saying it gently is give.
that's right. And the give skills focus on
The
how
other person's values.
how you want the other person to feel about you, right? Those are how do we build and maintain relationship skills.
And then
And Jackson, what are the fast skills? Building and maintaining what?
Your values,
Your values and how you feel about
others.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
Others was the relationship piece, right? The give skills. Self-respect skills are the fast skills. And so today we're going to add on one more piece to those interpersonal effectiveness skills. And it's called the evaluating options for intensity. What do you think that means?
Evaluating options for intensity.
Mm-hmm. It's not letters.
Oh,
It's not an acronym.
I thought it was.
No worries, it's not an acronym. And what I will show you all is that what we're going to be thinking about here in all of this is we want to think about how intensely do we ask for something or say no to something we don't want. And so I want you all to take a moment and just look at this list here, if you can see it on your screen, and you guys have this on yours, the top page there for you. What this looks like is a list of how intensely you ask for something, okay? In that maybe your intensity is really low at like a level 1 where maybe you don't even ask or don't even hint for something, versus at a 5 you ask gracefully for something and you still accept a no, all the way up to you ask firmly, you don't take no for an answer, right? Or you don't do the thing that somebody's asking you to do no matter how much they're trying to get you to do it.
Did you make a whole slide on how we can get a dog?
Oh, I did not make a slide on how you could get a dog. You're going to have to figure that out as we go through this. All right, so can you all maybe you want to screenshot this for a moment and really just look at that there's these different intensity levels. And what we're going to talk about today is how do you kind of figure out which level of intensity do you use? Oh, wrong camera. There we go. Ha, better camera. All right, I am figuring out how to mindfully manage the cameras, the computers, and teach all on my own today, right? So I'm having to practice lots of mindfulness here for all of that. So here's what we're going to do. I want to walk through and teach you all the 10 factors that we're going to consider, and I wrote them here on the board. I know you can't see them that well, but I'll put them up on the screen too, and the kids will read through them. The 10 factors we need to consider when we are thinking about how intensely to ask for something or how to say no to something, okay? Yes. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to come up with an example for yourself about something you want to ask somebody else and you're willing to share and talk about it, and or somebody's asking you something and you're going to say no to it, and we're going to go through that. And I asked you guys earlier to get either 10 dimes together or 10 paper clips. And
I got 4 dimes.
okay, so there's 10 paper clips for you, Ashton.
But I want dimes.
Okay, and Grace, I've got, do you have your paper?
Dimes.
Jackson found some dimes. And Grace, here's 10 paper clips for you. And I want you to all do this at home as well. To get either 10 paper clips or 10 dimes. And it's okay if you don't have it, because if you don't have it, you can do something by just like using like a chicken scratch mark and count as we go through. So you can do that too. And we're going to go through these 10 factors. So anybody at home want to share what their question might be that they're going to be asking?
I have a comment.
Okay, Grace, you have a comment? What's your comment?
I observed this thingy and on the saying no and a little bit on the asking thing.
There's some buts in there?
No,
Oh.
it was that the first one is super small and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The letters just
The bigger on the list?
like, the
Okay.
words just get like the
font.
letters
Right there,
get
so the fonts get bigger, so like, and that kind of
No, it's not the
increases,
font, it's
and the boldness.
It's
the
not the font,
size.
it's the letters.
Okay, right, and then we increase that. All right, so one of the examples we have from home is somebody asking their family to delay coming in for a visit. All right, and so get your example from home, and as we go through this, we're going to ask you to talk through each of these factors. And I'll give you a brief just preview of what our first factor is that we're going to look at. Let me change that for you. Okay. The first thing we're going to look at is we're going to go through these 10 factors. You've got the first 7 listed on the screen right now. And every time you say a yes for the question we're going to ask about each of these factors, you're going to move one of your dimes over into the bank. Okay?
The piggy bank.
The bank's going to be on your left side or your right side. So we're going to start with a stack of 10, and at the end we're going to see how many dimes we have in our asking intensity bank. Right? For those, if you have paper clips, you're just going to move a paper clip over into a pile. Does that make sense? And we're going to keep track of them.
So what do you mean?
I'll show you as we walk through it. Okay, Grace?
Okay.
All right, let's get the camera back where we need it to be. There we go.
Again.
All right, everybody.
Difference between the cameras.
Okay, I'll explain that to you later. I just have one's on the computer, one's freestanding. So what's your question, Jackson, that you're going to be asking for?
Can you please get me Halo 5?
All right, so your request is to get Halo 5.
My request is to get a puppy.
Okay, your request is to get a puppy.
My request is to get an Australian Bernedoodle puppy that is 2 colors.
Okay, so yours is to get a puppy. At home, we also have wants to apply these to the current situation. And yes, that was going to be one of the pieces. Like, we can use this also to apply. Jackson, can you stop making the noise with the dimes, please? One of the things we can apply this to is the current situation that's happening in our country on wanting to maybe protest or send letters to our congresspeople, our our politicians, right? You can absolutely, so if there's a specific thing that you want, put it in the chat bar and we can talk about that. But I also want to think about how do we use this to determine the level of asking for what we want and not saying no to what we want in terms of injustice. Because that's something that's really on my heart right now as well. So I appreciate that you brought that up in the chat bar. Okay, so we're going to go through these categories, and I want you at home to do this also. And for mine, I'm going to use some chicken scratches here so everybody can see. And then I have just the brief list there, a tally mark.
Why don't you just call them tallies, not chicken?
Okay, so that's the first one. Jackson, can you read the first one where it says 1 capabilities?
Is the person able to give me what I want? If yes, raise the intensity of asking. Do I have what the person wants? If no, raise the intensity of no.
Okay.
That's a different page.
You have to turn to the next page.
Oh.
Okay, so Jackson, who are you asking to get you Halo 5? You're asking me. Okay, so, and Grace, you're asking for a puppy, and Ashton, you're asking for a puppy.
Yeah.
So your question is, okay, and you're asking me, does the person you're asking, does mom have the capability of giving you what you want?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you would all move a dime or a paper clip over into your bank, right? And I might be asked, I might saying, you know, do I have the capability of saying no to them? And I might say yes. So I might, for my no, if I want to say no to any 3 of your requests, I would put a dime into my bank, right? And I'm going to say, do my Congress people in our state, do they have the capability of making changes to our justice system to stop the injustice?
Yes.
If they do, I think they do. I'm going to put a dime in my bank and put that over here.
So now you have 2 dimes in your bank.
Well, no, it's because we're just still talking about capabilities, right? They have the capability to give me what I want, to make the changes that I might be requesting around injustice in our justice system.
Don't we know one of them?
Doesn't matter right now. Okay, so Grace, read the next one, priorities. And you at home, think about priorities too here.
Are your goals very important? Increase intensity. Is your relationship shaky? Consider reducing intensity. Is your self-respect on the line? Intensity should fit your values.
Okay, so priorities is about really, how does this relate to when we talked about a couple classes ago about is my goal to get what I want in this situation? Is my relationship with the person most important? Or is my self-respect most important? So if your goal,
given dear.
right, so if your goal is most important, you're going to increase your intensity. So if Halo is more important for you than the relationship and your self-respect, you're going to increase the intensity of how you ask.
I don't get that.
Same for the dog. So how badly do you want Halo 5?
Not too badly, but I would really like it.
You'd like it, right? So maybe you're going to prioritize maybe your self-respect or your relationship with mom over getting Halo 5? Probably. Okay, so you wouldn't move a dime over. How about for you guys? Are you going to prioritize the puppy over relationship?
I don't know. It's like they're both kind of.
Yes, I would prioritize the puppy.
Okay.
Because once you get the puppy, then your relationship gets back and stronger with the puppy.
Okay, so Ashton might move a dime over. Grace might not. For me.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's the kind of the exact same.
Okay, so the relationship is equal to getting the puppy. So move your dime over. For me, around social justice, it is really important to me and a goal of mine that things change in our political atmosphere in our country around social injustice. And so writing a letter or talking to our politicians is really important, a high priority for me. So I'm going to add a dime to my bank and I'm going to put another tally mark in my bank. All right. And the same for you guys at home around your questions of social injustice and having family asking them to delay coming over. All right, Ashton, read the next one is about self-respect. Okay.
Do I usually Do I usually do things for myself? Am I careful to avoid acting helpless when I'm not? If yes, raise the intensity of asking. Will saying no make me feel bad about myself even when I'm thinking about it wisely? If no, raise the intensity of no.
Right, exactly. So I want you to think right now, will asking for what I want help me feel more competent and increase my self-respect?
I'm still confused.
Okay, what are you confused about?
You're using big boy words.
Okay, so what's self-respect? Do you remember what self-respect is?
Your values.
Okay, you don't,
Your values.
your values, how you feel about yourself, right?
I mean competent.
Are you living in line with your values? How you feel about yourself? Do you feel confident in the behaviors that you do?
What about competent?
And so when we're saying, are you feeling competent, does it make you feel more confident? Does it make you feel like you've built some mastery? That you've done something hard?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Hard tickets.
So is
Think about
asking
taking it off.
the person help me have more self-respect, feel better about myself, and more effective and competent? Okay, so asking would give that. So if that's the case, you would move a dime over.
I already have one over.
Okay, and
What?
do you feel, does it increase your self-respect, how you feel about yourself, to ask for a puppy from mom and dad?
I'm still confused.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're telling me that you're confused, and if you guys are confused also, that makes sense. That's right. This is really multi-layered, somebody just said. That this is about how do you want to feel about yourself after you ask. So it would be like, are you going to say like, Mom, we need to get a puppy, and I want it now, and I want Halo 5 now.
And you can't say no.
Now, if you said it like that, how would you feel about yourself afterwards? Would you feel better or worse about yourself?
Worse. It's like you just ruined your relationship.
It could be, right? So you might not feel as effective if you go that high. But if it makes you like asking for what you want and being assertive increases how you feel about yourself, then you would go up. So I'm going to actually put a dime over in my bank because my self-respect and my feeling of doing hard things goes up when I reach out and speak for what I want and what is important to me around social injustice, racism, and the problems that we're having with all of that, all of those pieces. We're going to add that in there today. Okay? So that's back to asking for a puppy. Will it increase what you feel? Will you make you feel better about yourself
If we get one?
if you ask for it?
Yes, it will.
Okay? And same thing for you, Jackson? All right, so then
now do I put
now you move your dime over. Okay?
it? Only Jackson gets time.
Right, and it definitely, somebody just commented, it definitely requires some dialectical thinking. Absolutely. And that's one thing, that's no one factor determines our intensity. We're going to go through all these 10 factors.
All of them.
Okay, so the next one, Ashton, can you stop doing that with your feet, please? That makes a lot of noise. Thank you. Is rights. Okay, and I'll read this one. Is the person I'm asking required by law or moral code to give me what I want? If yes, raise the intensity of asking. Okay, hold on. Yep. Am I required to give the person what he or she is asking? Would I violate their rights if they did? If no, raise the intensity. So here's the question for each of you, right? As you look at this, are mom and dad required by law, okay, to give you what you want? No. Right?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
So you would not.
We would have had one, like,
So you
5
would
years
not
ago.
move a dime over, right? And now this is a question. Are the politicians I'm asking to make change to address these problems in our society, are they required by law or morals to do it? You know, I'm not, from a law,
Make the law,
they
so
make the
it's
laws.
Dicey.
It's dicey because I think they are. I vote for them, and I vote for them so that they will represent. So I think by law and moral code, they're not required, right? Because what if my opinion is different from someone else's? Whose do they listen? So, but they're not required. So I'm not going to move a dime over. I think they have to listen to me, but they're not required by law to listen to me. Actually, they are. They're required by law to listen to me. They're not required to do what I want them to do.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the one we're going to think about. All right, the next one is authority. Okay, if you turn your page, authority. Jackson, can you read authority for us, please?
Answer my page.
Yeah, authority, it's on that next page.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Am I responsible am I responsible for directing the person or telling the person what to do? If yes, raise the intensity of asking. Does the person have authority over me? Example, my boss, my teacher, my parent. And what is the person asking, and is what the person is asking within his or her authority? If no, raise the intensity of no.
Okay, so you guys are going to be asking, am I responsible for telling mom and dad what to do?
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes. They
Well,
don't
we're
have to listen.
responsible.
No, but you don't have authority over me. Do you have authority over mom and dad
No, you could
to
kick
tell
me
them
out
what to do?
anytime.
No, right?
Actually,
So you're not going to move a dime over. Do I have authority to tell a politician what to do?
No.
No. 'Cause
I don't. Right? I can communicate to them, so I don't get to move a dime over.
Why does Jackson have 3 times over?
Okay, it says that's because he answered his questions. All
This
right,
isn't
so think
mine,
about
but
that at home.
I'm
Do you
telling
have
people.
authority to tell your family members to delay their trip on that? What about when people in power don't think they are required to follow the laws even though they are? That is a really tough question, right? And that's where the collective constituents and our judicial system have to come in. And part of it, we're focusing here on what do we do when it's our job for what I can do to, I want to know how do I communicate to those people who can help rein in any politician who might not be following the law and to make decisions based on that. So that's a big question, and it's really important that we think about that. So let's go to the next one. So we did authority. The next one is relationships. Gracie, can you read about relationships? Read the first bullet point.
Is what I want appropriate to the current relationship? If yes, raise the intensity of asking.
Right. So is asking mom and dad for a dog appropriate to the current relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Right.
we're not like hating each other. And
Right? Because it's appropriate that if you want to get a dog, you wouldn't just go get it, and you wouldn't ask the neighbor if you could get a dog, or your aunt and uncle if you could get a dog.
Oh,
That's
we've already
not how
asked
it
already.
You've got to ask your parents, right?
That's
So
not
it's
how-
absolutely fits the relationship. So what do you do with your dime or paperclip?
Move it.
Move it over. And my question for me is, does it fit appropriate for the relationship for me to send a letter to one of our Congress people requesting and asking for change in how people are being treated, right?
Yes.
And specifically how black people are being treated in our state and in our country for social justice, right? So yes, I am going to move one of my dimes into my bank.
I'm still confused on what I want.
Okay. For which? for-
Relationship.
For this one on relationship. So it says, is what I want appropriate to the current relationship, right? Is asking for Halo 5, is that appropriate that you would ask mom to get you Halo 5,
Yeah.
right? You wouldn't ask a friend or someone else. You could, but that might not be appropriate to the relationship,
Because then
right? So it's appropriate that you would ask me for that, right? And there might be things like, maybe you wouldn't ask your best friend or one of your aunts or uncles to get you a dog. That wouldn't be appropriate to the relationship
deception.
because they don't get to make that decision for what happens in our house,
Deception.
right? Okay. So the next one, this is one that can get a little tricky also, is about long-term versus short-term, all right? Will not asking for what I want right now keep the peace but create problems in the long run, right? So if you don't ask for Halo 5 right now, because, maybe mom and dad really don't like shooting games and we don't want any more video games in the house.
No, it said he didn't ask at all.
Wait, hold on. No. Right, so if he doesn't ask at all on this, right, it might keep the peace right now, but in the long run, might you have more resentment? Might you be more frustrated with us?
Probably not.
Probably not? Okay, so then you would not move a dime over. And what about you guys? If you decide, like, you know, it's still really stressful with COVID-19, with the social injustices and the police brutality that's happening in the country right now, especially over what happened in Minneapolis with George Floyd last week, maybe this isn't the right time to ask in the short term. You know, so we're not going to ask at all for what we want. Will that make you maybe have more resentment or frustration later if you don't ask for it now?
I think
No,
so.
I'll just be more mad at politics.
You'll be more mad at politics. Okay. So it won't make it worse for you. So you wouldn't move a dime over. And Grace, you're thinking it would?
Yeah, I think it would, because then I would feel like I missed my chance.
You thinking you missed your chance. Okay, so you're going to move a dime over. All right? And I'm going to say, will not saying something right now to keep the peace make me feel more frustrated, more resentful, and think that I did a disservice and cause more problems potentially in our country later or in our city, and hurt people, black and brown people who are very special to us, make them feel more unsafe, likely, right, if I don't say anything. So I am going to say something. I'm going to make my ask, and I'm going to move a dime over. Okay? All right, the next one. Give and take. Ashton, will you read give and take for us, please?
Yeah. Give and take. What have I done for the person? Am I giving at least as much as I ask for? Am I willing to give if the person says yes? If yes, raise the intensity of asking. Do I owe person a favor? The person a favor? Does he or she do a lot for me? If no, raise the intensity of no.
Okay. So for give and take, we're asking, do I give as much as I get with this person?
Yes.
All right.
You get loving family time in exchange for food and a place to live.
All right. So do you do things for me? Are you always just asking me for things?
No.
Or do you do things for me too?
I do things for you. I empty the dishwasher. I do the dishes. I clean up and wash the table.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we clean up every single thing at the dinner table.
Okay, so you do some things and help cleaning. It's not always
We
just
do
asking.
laundry.
You do laundry. You clean the bathrooms. Right? How about you, Jackson?
Sheets.
Do you give as much as you take? Do you help out as much as for what you're asking for? You think so? I think all three of you do.
Family time and watch TV.
You give me lots of family time,
Watch
right?
like at least an hour of TV every night.
Yeah, sometimes we do, yeah. And you know, I like that. Okay, so you would move a dime over.
Yes.
So my question is for my politicians, my congressperson that I'm going to reach out to. What have I done for them? Am I giving at least as much as I ask for? Well, I think so, right? I've voted for them. I've supported the ones that I'm thinking of reaching out for, you know, and done some campaigning for. So, yeah, I think I can move my dime over. Okay, how about you guys? Did you move your dime over?
I'm missing a paper clip, but I'll find it.
And for you and your family, for asking for your family to delay, do you do as much for them on that? Really thinking about it. Okay, here's the next one. This is a really, really important factor. What's the next factor? Homework. So somebody read and tell me what we mean by homework.
Did you get all your homework done?
Nope, that's not what we mean.
Have I done my homework?
Have you done your homework?
That's
No, but have you done your homework about what?
Do I know all the facts I need to know to support my request? Am I clear about what I want? If yes, raise the intensity of asking.
Oh yeah, like you have to like look up little facts about it and like what they like.
Is the other person's request clear? Do I know what I am agreeing to? If no, raise the intensity of no. I know what I'm asking for, and I've done my research.
Okay, so then really the question is, do I know what I want, and do I have the facts I need to support my request?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so what
Yes,
facts?
we've done like 2 hours of research.
Oh yeah? So what kind of food does a Bernie Doodle eat?
Kibble, fresh food, kibble, some random type of patties.
Okay, that's what you read. You watched a video on that, okay?
Yeah, they eat kibble.
How do you get a Bernie Doodle?
You buy it.
You go to
From
a
where?
theater.
Uh-huh.
Um,
How long do they take to get?
We didn't look that up because we need to.
I think it's like about.
We were waiting for you
week
to
or
say
two.
yes, and then we look up.
Oh, well, see, part of the ask is you might want to make sure you have all the information.
I think it might take like a week or two.
Mhm.
No.
Well, that sounds
Maybe
like
a
you
month.
maybe have to do some more research to figure it out.
Halo 5 is
Maybe
rated
a
T,
month.
while all others are rated M.
Okay.
Maybe a
So
month.
you got to do some research, like how much does it cost?
Well, I'm not paying for a dog.
Right? Would we get it? Well, how much does a dog cost? And not only does
It costs a lot.
not only does how much does the dog cost?
How much does all its bedding and
It's bedding and it's food, and if we go on a trip or on vacation, who's gonna watch it?
we bring the dog with us.
Can't always bring it on an airplane, or can't bring it on vacation, right? So how much would it cost to have somebody else watch the dog? So maybe there's a little bit more homework you guys have to do.
Neighbors! Our neighbors have a dog, so they know how to watch a dog.
Yeah, and then their doggy can play with our doggy.
Right, all things pieces of homework. So it sounds like maybe you haven't done all your homework.
Their doggy
On
can
it?
play with our doggy.
So are you gonna move a dime over?
Yes.
No, because you haven't done all your homework.
Yes, I have.
Jackson, how about you on all your homework? Have you done all your homework on Halo 5?
The only thing that I haven't figured out is the cost.
Okay, so maybe you're not going to move a dime over because you have to wait and get that information. And for me, have I done all my homework? I've done some homework about how to reach out to our politicians and where to send it. And there's still, I think, some more homework I want to do about really understanding are the effective things that we're asking for in change in social justice, and how to change the level of systemic racism that's happening both in our city, our state, and in our country. So I have to do a little bit more homework from what am I truly asking for, and what's the best way to get that change. So I'm going to do a little bit more homework. So I'm not going to put a dime over in my bank. Okay?
No, you won't.
All right. So then here's the last one, which is super important for us to look at.
Your timing.
Timing. And I'll read this one. Is this a good time to ask? Like right now in this moment, is it a good time to ask? Is the person I'm asking for what I want in the mood for listening and paying attention to me?
Yes.
Am I catching the person when he or she is, or they are likely to say yes to my request?
Like when someone, like let's say like one of your family members just died from coronavirus, and like you just
You
get
need
the
something
news,
to
Jackson,
cuddle.
can you sit down?
like you just
Is.
get the news, and then that like they've died, it's like not a good time to like ask for like something new, like, oh mom, yeah, about yeah, can we get a Wii? It's like, don't do that.
Okay, so it might not be the best time, right in that moment when someone's
Yeah.
grieving. Okay. All right.
Asking for
So then you guys have to say, when's a good time? Is this the right time, like after dinner or right when I wake up in the morning, to ask for?
There's kind of an
not after
and a
dinner
down.
because you're always like clean, 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 and not in the morning because you're always like,
Right. So you know the times that are better to ask and not to ask.
yeah, when
What?
like right after, like right before Merlin or something.
Right. So like right when we finish live stream, is that the right time to ask me?
No,
Yes,
because we have
school.
Because you got to get back to school and I've got to kind of get everything broken down and reset for that. So probably not the best time.
There's
It-
it's also a really good time during COVID-19 because we don't have to travel.
Okay, so that's great timing for us to get a dog in general at this time. And then there's like, is this the right time for me to make my request? And I'm going to say for me, reaching out to our congressperson, this is the right time,
this is
right?
definitely
This is definitely
This
the
is
right time.
because if we ask after coronavirus or when it's coming to an end, well, we never know, but like that's gonna be like, well, it's ending, like the rates are going down really fast, so it wouldn't. So no, like you want to ask like while you still can.
Right, we want to ask right now. So I'm going to read this question from somebody. So you might go through all this and then decide to do more homework before asking. You know what you want to ask, and you want to ask with some degree of intensity. That's right. So I know right now that if I haven't done all my homework, it's not the right, I'm going to bring down the intensity of asking, right? If I've done all my homework, or I've stopped and gone and done my homework, now I can bring my intensity back up.
Because then you're like, well, why? Like, why this and why that? And it's like, you just go on and then they can ask you more
You got it.
questions about
All right, so here's what we have to do now. I need everybody to count up their dimes or tally marks or their
chicken
timing?
scratches.
chicken scratches in this. So there out of 10, how many did you move over?
5.
So you have 5 and I have 7.
What?
I have 7 for my intensity. So let's
because
pull
she's
back
doing
up.
something different
We're going to
than
pull
us.
back up our intensity chart. Oh,
5.
okay, so I want you all to be able to look right here at our intensity chart. Okay, so look at that intensity chart. And now here's one more thing you're going to do. We've counted it up. You have an opportunity to make a wise mind adjustment, meaning based on your wise mind, you can go up or down one level, right? Because this isn't like completely mathematical and scientific, right? But it's a guide for us to determine how intensely to ask for things, right? And so mine was at a 7, and I could go up or down 1 or 2. So maybe my 7 says I'm going to ask confidently and I'm going to resist a no. And my 8 says I'm going to ask firmly or resist a no.
I would go down because you don't want the Secret Service showing up at your house and being like, put your hands up.
No, well, I don't think that's going to happen here, right? And so at home, we've got some 7s, some 5s. If we do more homework, we'll get up to an 8. And I think that's true for me also. So I'm going to hold on to, I'm going to ask firmly and ask confidently and resist a no to my requests for change. I'm not going to allow them to say, no, we're not changing. I'm going to push for social and political change in my request. So I want you guys now to think about,
I'm going to go up.
you're going to go up, Gracie?
Up 1.
You're going to go up 1.
So I'm going to ask confidently, but I'm going to take a no.
So you're going to ask confidently for your dog, and you will take a no? Okay, Ashton, how about you?
I'm going to go down so
What?
I can ask then, and then I can do more homework, and then it can go up.
Okay, so you're going to take
get
a
like a small answer first, and then do more homework. And
Okay, and then Jackson,
As
what's
big-
yours?
I'm gonna stay.
You're going to stay? Okay, and that at 5, you're going to ask gracefully and take a no on that. And at home, we've got
I
people.
thought Jackson was at like 8.
We've got some other people at a 7. You guys did a great job on this. All right, so here's the next piece. I know we're starting to get to our end time. You guys, we talked last time about you really wanted to get a dog,
A puppy. not a
right?
dog.
You want to get a puppy. So what we do now is now that you've got your dear man and we know our intensity of how you want to ask for your dear man, I want you guys, one of you, to think about, this is the dear man we did last week. So Grace, why don't you move over here a little bit? Or Ashton, you can move over here a little bit.
Grace is a pro at Dear Man.
All right, so Grace, I kind of just wrote down some of the details from last week on our dear man. Okay, so I'm going to change that screen in a minute. So you remember, but I want you to ask confidently and take a no for your dear man. And it might be easier if you look at that screen over there because this one's going to change in a moment. Can you see that?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay, I'll make it bigger for you so you can see it. All right, but you also don't need the DEAR, right, to fully tell you? No. Okay, so do your dear man while you ask confidently.
Mom, can we please get a dog? Because it would make us, me and I think everybody else really happy. And I know that they eat kibble and
Kibble.
Yeah, kibble and some other stuff. And they're really cute. And Bernie Doodles, Australian Bernie Doodles, are either black and white or black, golden and white.
Okay, and what's your R? How are you going to reward me ahead of time? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
You can look on the screen over there if you want to see what you came up with.
And then, you can cuddle with it, and we could have a lot of fun on the couch watching Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
And it would take us off screens a lot more.
Okay.
And we have time to play with the dog now.
Yeah, now that we're not traveling.
All right, everybody. How do you guys think Grace did in asking confidently and taking a no in that? How do you think she did?
I helped her.
Yes, you did help her there. Right.
Little legs.
Yeah, how do you all think she did? Right, did she do it? Right, and she didn't kind of yell at us asking for it in any way. She just really said what she wanted, and I thought that was effective. So nice job, Grace. And that's one of the ways that we put it all together when we kind of come through all this. And so that's what I want you guys to think about is how do we put all of this together for doing our dear man and our give fast skills, and then really thinking about how they fit into this whole process, right? What we just did is we stacked all of our skills from interpersonal effectiveness of dear man, give and fast, figured out the intensity with which we are asking for what we want, and now even more importantly, in certain situations, what also happens is we're gonna have to use our mindfulness skills and our emotion regulation skills, right? Because what if you're really nervous when you're asking the person for what you want? You have to be able to, can you put those dimes down, please? Not there, on the couch. We really have to think about what we're asking for them. And if I'm really nervous, I might want to start, not be direct and not really ask for what I want. And then my self-respect might go down, right? If I don't ask confidently, I've got to kind of bring them all together. So hopefully this makes sense to all of you at home also. And I want you to practice putting it all together with your dear man, your give, your fast, and now adding and understanding how intensely I should ask based on these really important 10 different factors, okay, for you to look at. And then one more important question that somebody said, so helping you out here, that you have to ask is, would the kids pick up after the dog their poo?
Si, senor.
So you'll have to think about that too. All right, so here's my take-home slide
Jackson
for all
says
of
he
you.
doesn't want a dog because it's too much work.
That's true, so he might not. So here's
get to
the
play with the
take-home
dog.
points for all of you I want you to see. One,
Get a
we
dog.
don't use the same intensity with every dear man, right? For each dear man, we have to look at our 10 factors, slow down, do our homework, and figure out how to ask or say no. And then we also want to put it all together with our dear man, our give, and our fast. And then we also have to be thinking mindfully, how do we notice our emotions? How do we stay mindful to what we're asking, right? By putting it all together. So these are the 3 take-home points I want you all to remember as we kind of go through this. We don't use the same intensity. We have to slow down, do our homework to determine our intensity of what we're asking for, and then put it all together. So if you have any final questions, throw that in the chat bar with us. We're so glad you joined us today. Like I said at the very beginning, this is from lesson 29 in the DBT Steps A curriculum. If you want a list of those 10 factors, send me a message on Facebook or through our website, dbtinschools.com, and we will get those 10 factors listed for you as well. We'll try to put those up there later today. We are so glad you guys joined us now that we're wrapping up our interpersonal effectiveness skills.
This is our third to last class.
That's right. We have
before we
3
end.
more classes where we'll come in to you live from our living room, learning our skills, and we hope you'll join us. And then just a final reminder that if you want to join the Q&A with Jim and I on Tuesday, June 16th, go to the website, dbtinschools.com, to register for that. And then we'd love for you to join us for our morning live stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Tell your friends. It's a good time. We have lots of meaningful discussions about how to parent. And now I'm going to really say not just parenting through COVID-19, parenting.
Thriving.
It's really parenting in 2020 and beyond, and what we're going to do as parents to make changes and raise emotionally resilient children going forward. So thank you. We're glad you're all here with us. I'll put that other slide up for you for one last moment here with all of the information, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. I will let you guys all say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us, and have a great Tuesday.
Subscribe.
Take care.